autumnal. I have my Converses that I feel like UK men are more lively.
I can't even pass the talking stage. It's not you.
Have these unrealistic expectations sometimes.
Yeah.
Or like not even an unrealistic like high, just like not real.
It's like every Muslim guy out there is like a carbon copy of one another. A man that has ambition and personality and like a sense of self.
Asking shall receive. This is what the setup of the speed dating event looks like.
Okay, single, one. I am feeling violated. Men out there. There's just not the men that I want out there.
Welcome back to More to Life. Before I get into this video, like, comment, subscribe. Also, smash that notification bell just to be sure you get on my videos as soon as I release them. Let's get into this. All right, guys. Now, today we have something now. Everything that's happening in regular America, when I say regular America, I mean with modern women, right? But one thing I found recently, a lot of you guys have known this for a long time. Women from other cultures are the same. What cultures am I talking about? I'm talking about Muslim culture. I'm talking about even in the Muslim community. So they're having the same struggles when they go to singles events. But let's tap into this because I want to see if it's quite the same.
Not me being back in my singles event era. Shout out to the girls that remember me going to singles events in New York and Philly. But today, we're in London. Me and my friends are here for a girls trip, and tonight we're going to the singles event hosted by Nikah Noir. It's only for Black Muslims, and I'm very, very excited. Here's the fit. Very autumnal. I have my Converses because, hello. Just from Shop Fatima Di Alu. That is from Vella, and this bag is from Shein. I'm so excited. I am gonna give you guys updates when I get back on how everything goes. Inshallah, it's amazing. Okay, so we just got back from the event. Huh? I'm on TikTok! We just got back from the event, and I just want to give y'all my thoughts really quick. The positives I will say is that I feel like UK men are more lively. Like, I feel like they were willing to like laugh and talk and like open up in a certain type of way. However, I also feel like there was a disconnect somewhere in regards to, I think, like emotional vulnerability and also like just like Riz, you know? Like, I don't think we really even got one compliment. And as Muslims, it's really hard to know if the conversation you're having is friendly or you're talking to me because you're interested. A lot of the men are cool.
Wait a minute. She said she wants a guy to have Riz, respecting that in the Muslim community. So you're expecting the guys to be like the world. I mean, I guess, right? Because these are human beings we're talking about. So I'm guessing they want their man to have some sort of charisma. That's what she meant to say, not Riz. Charisma. And no men were showing that. Why? The men are more reserved. That's how the men are going to be. Now, I'm sure there's a bunch of men complain about the drama, but I'm not going to get into that today. I want to hear what the lady got to say.
Cool. Not saying that we're going to be friends, but you know, we don't really talk to men often. So sometimes you just like find yourself in these really interesting conversations, but that doesn't mean it's like romantic. And I feel like that could just be really frustrating to navigate and to be around because like you would just want somebody to show interest past just a conversation, and there wasn't really none of that. And I think I just expected more because coming from New York, men are very obvious when they're interested in you. But I guess it just goes to show that all over the world, like, men are really suffering from this performance of like being cool. And it's funny because we're in this like hyper toxic masculinity epidemic, but men are not assertive where they need to be. Like, I feel like you need to be very upfront, very forward if you're interested in someone, but there wasn't really none of that. The organizers themselves did amazing with the event. We had like games, we had speed dating, and they made sure to have a certain amount of male tickets and female tickets, so it wasn't going to be more women than men. And it was only one person who didn't show up. It was small, it was intimate, the food was good, the conversation was flowing, and I look cute. So mashallah, I'm really excited for the rest of my time in London.
Well, I gotta say, at least it's better than a lot of the dating events that are, you know, back home in the West or maybe some in London. They're struggling right now. But I want to hear this part here.
Y'all to know that wanting to be in love, wanting to be desired, wanting a partner, wanting to build something, seeking companionship is never anything to be ashamed of. There's nothing wrong with that, and you are worthy of it. And by Allah's will, you will get it. If not in this life, then in the akhirah, inshallah. Y'all are beautiful and amazing. Worth comes from Allah. You are deserving and worthy simply because you already exist. That is not something that somebody can ever take away from you. You are more than just your body. You are more than just whatever level of modesty that you are. And yes, it's hard, but know that Allah is literally in control. Allah has written certain things for you. This is qadr of Allah. And maybe in this season of your life, you need to learn to be alone. You need to really reassess what you want so that when Allah brings somebody to you, you quickly handle it. You can know what you want, what you don't want, what you should get and what you shouldn't get. And so let this be a learning experience.
Yeah, so she's pretty much talking about what she's going through, why you have to be patient. And it's true. When you're single, you have to be patient and wait for that one. You never know when that person is going to come. And the wild thing is, as she's saying this, right? I take a look at the comments and I said, she's really struggling. Take a look at what it says. Girl, I'm actually tweaking. Where is my man? Allah, please take your time getting me the best partner. No, literally same. That's why it's so funny. TikTok reminding me about the video because I'm this close to saying forget about it. I guess it's that hard. I guess everywhere, no matter where you look at, woman is struggling. And how do I come to that conclusion? From this here.
Asking shall receive. This is what the setup of the speed dating event looked like. Honestly, it was pretty chaotic, and they ended up switching to like this more open mingling session pretty quickly. There was food and drink. It was really cool. Here is our
but
review.
we've officially finished our 12 hours. Just kidding. Probably like 6 hours. 7 or 8 hours.
9 hours, honestly.
9 hours of including prep and speed dating and talking to people. How are we feeling?
I am feeling single.
Okay, single. One. What else?
I am feeling violated.
Ooh, that's not what I was hoping for. Okay, we're gonna strike that from the
I'm
record.
a little optimistic. What about
Okay,
you?
optimism. Optimism is good.
How are you
I
doing?
am like, okay, there are men out there. There's just not the men that I want out there.
The male species exists.
Yeah.
There are men out there. There's just not the men I want out there. Ha ha ha. What confidence are you giving men that are watching you right now?
Absolutely nothing.
This lady right here with the hijab on is a doctor, by the way. So she's already struggling from that aspect, right? From being hyper independent. Doesn't mean to. That's just the way she was raised. You know, I believe she's Indian Muslim or something like. She looks Indian. But she's hanging with a bad example, right? So say I'm a Muslim guy, I'm watching this going, yeah, I date her. But who's this girl she's hanging with? Seriously, I wouldn't want my wife to be hanging with another minded woman because how she thinks, you can tell, is how she thinks. And the girl with the hijab on, she said it first. Not the men that I want there, like, okay. Yes. So what men you don't want there? What do you mean? Maybe a guy my height. I'm too short. I accepted that fact a long time ago, right? I'm 5'7". I got the swagger, everything. I got super swagger. For a girl that's short, like if I go to a short dating event, I'm in there. Seriously, I'm in there because I'm talking, I'm moving, and I'm shaking. But I'm around girls that are taller, no good. But anyway, I'm married. That doesn't matter. But still, what does a guy get from watching this? It's the same thing. So when you look at this and when you see those statistics, right, where it says about 2030, they don't mean some. When they say all, the Pew Research, that means all women, all religions in the U.S. who'll be single and childless by 2030. All, everybody, because there's a lot of headaches Muslim men go through that we don't know about. I hear talks. They're talking about it. They're talking about it in these different countries. They're talking about it in Africa. The Muslim community out there, it's wild. And I see, and this is here in the States. So could you imagine what's going on there? I'm sure it's crazy there. But let me let her finish.
There are Muslim men in the world, and yet again, there are not the Muslim men to the standard that I want. So
There were some normal ones.
there were a couple of them, which is nice and
Yeah.
gives us hope. So here we are.
Massimo, man.
I don't know. Here we are.
Oh my god, he was so hot.
Okay, mashallah.
Sorry.
That's it, and we're done.
That's what she had to say. Now this is her again.
And has experienced just that. Her response did not make me saddened or disheartened at all.
Just not at the same. You can have it all, just not at the same time.
When I was a medical student applying into neurosurgery, this was the #1 question that I asked every single female surgeon that I could find. How to achieve work-life balance is probably one of the most common questions that female physicians get asked about. I've heard all sorts of responses for these questions, ranging from more optimistic to more pessimistic, but the search for balance remains ever elusive. The answer I agreed with most, and the one that I pass along now, is just that. You can have it all, but not all at once. I heard this advice first from another neurosurgeon who is also female. She was Muslim, she was married to another physician, and she had a couple of kids.
I gotta pause it right there, right? Because she's talking about neurosurgeon, this, and this. Now, when they say you can have it all, just not all at once, I want to hear what you take from that. Because she's talking about other neurosurgeons who now have a man or whatever, and I want to hear everything she says. So I want to see what she gets from that. Because what I get from that is maybe while you're in your career, you do your career now and marriage later. But what does that mean? The same thing that every other modern woman's going through. So do you want it all now? Think about it.
She was one of the attending neurosurgeons at a program that I was doing an away rotation at, and I was just in awe. Alhamdulillah, she had the type of life that I was hoping to achieve one day in my life, and so obviously I asked her about her work-life balance and, how did she seemingly have it all? You can have it all, she said, just not all at the same time. And she went on to explain that that doesn't mean that you have to limit the things that you want in life or what you can achieve. And she, as a neurosurgeon, as a mother, as a wife, as all of these different roles in her life, clearly knew that she was able to do anything that she wanted. But the point that she was making was just that you can never be 100% at everything all the time. And this is just true in life in general. But for her specifically, she was saying that, if one night she focused more specifically on getting prepped for clinic the next day or something where she really had to put her time into her work, then she wouldn't maybe get to spend her time with her kids that evening. Or if on a certain night she really wanted to, forego looking something over or reading an article or something like that so that she could spend extra time with her kids and be, 100% there as a mom in that moment, then, her work would not be at 100%. And so she did everything and very well, but the fact of the matter is that you can't just get to that 100% level at everything in your life. And I think that anybody who's a woman can relate to that somehow and has experienced just that. Her response did not make me saddened or disheartened at all. Actually, it really gave me hope for the future and, what it could look like, and me wanting to achieve all the things that I wanted to is definitely possible. Inshallah, whatever's meant to happen will happen.
I don't look at anyone here. I never ever look at any woman and say it can't happen, right? I don't know. I don't know what God has in store for you. So it can possibly happen for anyone, but you have to bring yourself down. I'm listening to the way you were just interacting with your friend there. It says a lot. Now think about this. They don't think about it. What about the Muslim men who are possibly going to see that video? How are they going to judge you? Maybe a Muslim man who's very rich will see that and go, she's beautiful, but it's not good. She's beautiful, but what does she mean when she says that? Seriously, that's what I'm thinking. What do you mean when you say none of the men there were for you? I would love to know.
I wonder you stayed single.
I've become so disillusioned about finding a guy. I'm 26, Somali, and I've never been in a relationship. I struggle to even get out of the talking stage, and I honestly don't understand why that is. I can confidently say I don't do anything crazy, and all I want in a guy is someone who's sincere, kind, and has the same energy and goals in life. I don't like drama or stress, and I would like to believe I'm a well-rounded girl who takes care of myself and my hobbies. I don't even date that much, but when I do, I try to be as open as possible, but I'm so close to giving up. I usually date Somali men, and sometimes it's difficult to even get them to carry a conversation. I feel like I'm always the one trying to make the conversations interesting and get to know them better, and it never feels reciprocated. I'd like to believe I'm a cool, nice girl, so what's wrong with me that I can't even pass the talking stage? It's not you.
That's a who's that?
I feel like when I try to put myself out there, I just end up disappointed.
It's not you. It's not her. It's not her. But if the men aren't talking, you got to do something, right? Same thing for Muslim women. Sorry. You're in your community, right? You want them in there. You got to try something. I know it's not feminine, but you got to some way make yourself obvious, because if you're wearing your hijab and everything, you can't be too much because a man won't respect it. You know, think of feminine things you can do. How about you cook a meal, right? Go out on the street and say, hey, are you single? Would you like to come eat? Would you like me to cook you a meal? Yes, something like that. Are you single? No, I'm not single. Keep moving. Yes, I'm single. Would you like for me to cook you a meal? You know, look, I cook some good this, and this. Would you like to cook a meal and maybe do this, right? Something that's agreeable, something that a man will accept from a woman, right? Try something. Get your foot in the door.
Like my other Muslim girlies out there that are also like hopeless romantics. Are y'all also stressed out because you guys think that you'll never find like a Muslim man that you're compatible with? Because it just seems like every Muslim guy out there is like a carbon copy of one another, and you really want to find a man that has ambition and personality and like a sense of self. Like, I don't want to marry a guy whose only quality is like, yeah, I provide, I'm a Muslim, I'm religious. Like, no, I want more than that.
You can't make this up.
Like, I want a man with hobbies and like all of these niche interests and like stuff that they're like nerds about. I want a man with a personality. Please, please. I think I might be that Arab girl that ends up marrying a white man. And you know what? As long as he's Muslim, I'm not complaining.
Oh, man. Next video.
I'm turning 30 soon.
Over 27, unmarried, female. What do you call this lady? 剩女, which means leftover women.
And I'm struggling to find a husband. Salam says, I really enjoy your video. So I'm a 29-year-old Muslim woman and I'm going to be turning 30 very soon. I did my undergraduate when I was 21, finished my master's by the time I was 23, and ever since I've been working full time. Alhamdulillah, everything's been great so far. I live with my parents and my siblings and I'm the eldest. But the only problem is I've been struggling to find a husband.
You see what all of them are saying? And that's put on them by their parents, right? They get in their careers. They're being led. I got to compare. I got to do a comparison. I'm going to be real. Where I'm from, they're ghetto, downrotten. But you mean to tell me this is a comparison? They're not like them. But when it comes to how they're led, the black woman is sort of like how the Muslim woman is led. The family pushes them. Get your career. You got to get your career. I would be so proud of you. Get that job. And then get them man second. Not thinking about finding a man in college when you should find a man. Not showing your feminine qualities to men. It's not like back in the days. When Muslims back in the days, they were on it.
Those days are over.
Servicing. Now, a whole different ball game. So, is it quite different than what men were used to, even we were used to? I'm sure it is. I know it definitely is.
To marry. So my parents gave me two options. I can either find someone to marry myself who's a good Muslim, or they'll find someone for me. They're basically happy with either as long as I get married to a good person. And the thing is, I'm keen on finding someone myself who I can get to know for a while and then get married. Don't get me wrong, I don't want to do any haram dates or any meetups or anything like that. I want to meet the right person and meet them in person with my mahram present so that I can get to know them and then marry them. And I'm not kidding, since I was 25 years old, I've been meeting guys for the purpose of marriage. So I would usually meet them up in cafes with my brother or somewhere public like that. And I'm not kidding when I say this, every single guy that I've come across have been weird or just odd. I never seem to click with any of them. They're either not a good Muslim or they're too religious. Some of them are weirdos or simply just a creep. Bear in mind, I live in London and I haven't only been meeting guys who are only living in London. I even had one guy travel all the way up from Bournemouth just to meet me. But every single guy that I have come across so far has just been horrible. My parents are putting more and more pressure on me as day goes by. And my mum keeps coming up with me with more and more potential matches that she found from her end. She keeps telling me that the sooner I get married and move on, the sooner my sister can then start looking for someone as well.
Wow.
My younger sister, who's 27 years old, is basically not allowed to meet anyone yet for the purpose of marriage until I'm married off and gone. My parents made it very clear that they don't want both of us looking for guys at the same time, in case my sister found someone before me and wanted to get married before I did, which they didn't find appropriate. To be honest, I kind of agree with them because it makes sense for me to get married first and move on so then my younger sister can get married after me. But the trouble is, I'm struggling to find someone. I don't know whether because our UK drinking water is contaminated or because the guys are just weird. I'm just struggling to find anyone who's decent. And now that I'm going to be turning 30 in literally a month, my parents have upped their game when it comes to finding proposals for me.
Yeah, that's the thing. See, when she says someone that's decent, like, I don't know what she's talking about. Does she mean with personality? Because they all want someone with personality, right? But they're stuck in their own box. I would love to know what decent is.
I simply don't know what to do. I've even tried Muslim dating websites like Muzmatch, but nothing seems to click for me. And I feel like I'm not the only girl who's going through this. I feel like a lot of women in the UK are struggling to find guys because they're just not good enough. I don't know what's wrong with men nowadays. They're just not right. When you meet a man for the purpose of marriage, it doesn't take very long for you to realize that there's something wrong with them. I haven't met a single guy who I liked even remotely. Even the good-looking ones, the handsome ones who are nice to look at, but the minute they open their mouth, only crap comes out. Okay, that kind of made me laugh. I don't know what to do. Please give me some advice. P.S. When you met your husband, how did you know that he was the one? Okay, so walaikum salam. I would just say pray tahajjud, pray istihara, like pray, make dua to Allah to send you the right nasib at the right time. Maybe it's just not your time. And I know your parents are putting a pressure on you. And like you said, if you feel like the guy's not right for you, if it's like he's saying stuff that you don't like and you just feel like you won't click, keep saying no. Even if you reject the 100th guy in a row and your parents are pressuring you, don't say okay, because the more pressure they're building up and stress they're putting on you, the more you'll be tempted to just say okay to the next guy that turns up. Don't do that, please. Because your parents would rather you wait now and find the right guy than for you to rush and get married, get divorced and come back home and be waiting again. So the next time your parents are like pressuring you or your mom is like trying to force you to hurry up and pick the next guy, remind her this. Tell her, would you rather me wait now and pick the right guy, or would you rather me go get married, get a divorce, come back and wait again? Like if you say that to her and put that perspective into her head, I'm telling you, I'm like 90% sure your mom will be like, okay, take your time. Because they will then imagine, okay, I don't want my daughter, obviously nobody wants their daughter to go and have a failed marriage, get divorced and come back, because they don't, they want the best for you, inshallah. So tell that to your parents and make loads of dua, and inshallah will make dua for you as well. And the thing about how I met my husband, you just know, like when you meet the right person, you'll just know. And also it happens at the time when it's meant to happen for you. So if Allah's written it for you to happen tomorrow or like in 10 years time or 5 years time, I don't want to freak you out, but I'm just saying, like whatever the time Allah's written for you, it will happen. So just pray tahajjud and just make dua, pray istihara and just ask Allah for like to send you the right nasib, the right person at the right time, inshallah.
Man, it's wild because that pressure, my wife had experience with that in the past, okay? When you did an Indian guy before where they had to get married off. She explained the situation where this girl is feeling pressured, right? She's pressured because the mother is putting pressure on her to get married. But I think what this lady said is best. That's the best advice. You got to calm down. She got to find a way to say, hey, Ma, look, I don't want to make any mistakes. But I don't know if the daughter, her younger sister's 27. I'm wondering, how old is she? Right? How old is she? What am I gonna say, y'all? Shanya!
Here we go again.
Means leftover women.
That's what the mother saying. You already 30 years old? 32 years old? They got some good, I guess it's decent pressure. Seriously. If we had some of that pressure over here in the West, there wouldn't be so many baby mothers running around. Seriously. I'm being dead serious. But that's the parents are saying, Shanya! And they're strong with it. They don't play that. They will push them until they're out the house. I guess it's a good thing. We need that kind of shame back in the West.
What do you feel like are some barriers that Muslim women face when they're trying to like find a good spouse?
I think like one challenge, I guess, is like, you know, there's a whole like social media, and the whole idea of like instant like gratification, straight away. And I feel like a lot of people like kind of have these unrealistic expectations sometimes, or like not even an unrealistic like high, just like not real. Do you know what I mean?
I feel like it comes from like social media. People often showcasing their marriages, which is not a bad thing, but then people just naturally assuming life is always going to be glitz and glam.
And I think like that's a lot of fear in people as well. Like especially I think men and women. Like there's always like now the guys are scared of sprinkle girls.
Oh yeah.
Muslims are struggling to find someone to marry someone nowadays, and I think I'm one of them. Hi there. I know that from watching your videos that you're already married, so I know you probably can't relate to this. However, maybe most of your viewers are probably going to relate to what I'm going to say. So I'm a 26-year-old female. I just turned 26, and of course, at home, everyone's talking about my marriage. I know I'm not that old, but I am leaning towards 30 now, and to be honest, I'm ready to get married as well. I'm well educated, alhamdulillah. I have a decent job, alhamdulillah again, and now I feel like I'm ready to just move out, find my husband, marry, and even have kids, inshallah. The thing is, this has been on my mind ever since I was 24 years old. I thought I'd be married by the time I was 25 and probably start having kids by the time I was 27 or 28. But now that I'm 26, I feel like I'm much closer to 30 and nowhere near finding someone to marry. I know that there are loads of Muslims all over the UK, but the thing is, how do people meet each other and how do they get married in a halal way? And I know some people will say stuff like arrange marriage, get your parents to find someone, or go on Muzmatch. But the thing is, I don't like any of these ideas. I want to find someone myself in person, get to know them the halal way, and then marry them. But the thing is, I haven't met anyone yet who seemed like marriage material. I went to uni, I did undergraduate, I even did postgraduate, and I've been working in different jobs. But the problem is, I haven't met a single man who I think I might want to marry, and also someone that might want to marry me. And it's not just me. Most of my friends, in fact, all of them, some of them are even in their 30s already, are still struggling so much to find somebody. I have absolutely no idea why. We're all in the UK, we all go outside, we all mingle with people, but I feel like we're so busy just trying to survive this life. I feel like all everyone does is wake up, go to work, come home, eat, sleep, go out occasionally, chill every now and then, but then it's back to work. And at this rate, I have lost hope that I'll be married before I'm 30 with kids. My question is, how do people meet one another? How do you have the halal way of meeting someone to get married? How do you find that click, that attraction without it being haram? And also, how do you know when you have found the one? If anyone has any suggestions, or even if anyone can share their advice about how they met their special person, aka their husband or their wife, it would be really useful. And I also want you to tell me as well how you met your husband. I remember you mentioning on one of your lives that you met at uni, but can you please tell us how exactly it went and how you knew he was the one? Thank you. Okay, so I know a lot of people are like struggling to find people. I don't know why, to be honest. I think maybe people are just not talking to each other off, I guess, and too scared to do it the haram way. So people are trying to stay halal as possible so no one's talking, I think. I'm not sure. And I met my husband, yeah, I met him at uni, and I just like we just knew. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like we were like friends for a bit, but we always hung out like in front of everyone. We were never like alone, and we were just friends in the beginning, and then we just like liked each other. Like we just knew, and you just know that you want to get married. I don't know how to describe it. You just kind of know. I guess Allah just like lets you understand it, I guess, when you meet the right person. I feel like if you're struggling, I would suggest praying to Tahajjud and asking Allah for like to show you, to guide you to your nasib, and to like make dua all the time. It's always raining now. Make dua when it's raining. Inshallah, Allah accept your duas, and don't stress out too much about it. Like it happened to me when I wasn't even thinking about it. Like I went into uni thinking I'm gonna study hard. I want to be a lawyer. Like I was doing law, so I was like, I'm gonna focus. I'm not gonna talk to anyone. I wasn't interested. I was only 18, so I was just like, no. But then it happened, and I wasn't even like prepared for it. So I feel like if you're going around thinking about it all the time, it's just not gonna happen. And the minute you let go of it, it could change, inshallah. And just make lots of dua. That's all I can say. And also, it's better to be like waiting around to find the right person than to be with the wrong person. So keep that in mind as well. And I feel like I've heard this from everyone. Like everyone is saying the same thing. Like, how do people meet? How are people getting to know each other? How do you keep it halal? Like it's an issue that's happening. I think everyone's also way busy with work and how like the cost of living's gone up. So everyone's so busy trying to like earn money just to survive, not even for luxury. So I guess everyone's busy with that and everyone's got their goals and dreams, which is good. Obviously it's good. But I feel like that means when you're done with work and you come home, or when you have the weekend, or when you have your time off, everyone's just too tired to like go out there and venture. I think personally, at least I am. So I hope that helps. I don't know if that's helpful, but I would just say the most helpful thing I can say is just to make dua. Like make dua 24/7. That's it.
You see what she said, right? Everybody's busy with life. And what happens is the old school way is the best, right? Even for Americans. I know the Muslim culture is much different, but it still should all be the same. What do I mean? I'm talking about where things are done the old school way. Not you meet a person in public where your lady, your husband, or your brothers will introduce you to your husband, right? And see, back in the day, what happened with women back then, they had no choice. I watched something. Who was that lady in the Bible, okay? Who somebody introduced her to her husband? Who was that? That girl? Somebody introduced her to her husband. Well, she met her husband. She found her husband. He went to go find a guy that could take her on to be her husband. And then the guy wasn't interested. He had his own wife already. So he married her. It was a situation. I forgot the lady's name. But they got married. And the way it happened, so prehistoric. Like they wouldn't even fathom doing something like that nowadays. And I get it. A lot of these young girls, they don't want their parents to hook them up with somebody. You see what they all say? Oh, I don't know him. I don't know him. They want to be like Modern Woman. But is that doing Modern Woman any good? Look at the divorce rates. Divorce is everywhere. I'm sure it's starting to happen even now in the Muslim community. Is it all really good? No, it's not. Too much choice is ruining dating. That's what's going on. Look at, she said, must match, whatever it is, right? You go in there, you find a guy. What are they doing in must match? Looking for the most handsome guys. Same thing as the Modern Woman. Is that any good? Look at when the ladies went out to dating events. They were talking the same way as Modern Woman. Some guys are still going to those dating events though. What do you think is gonna happen the more they catch wind of what these ladies are saying? They're gonna stop pretending. So now you're in the same boat, but they're struggling because they don't know how to choose. They're unfamiliar with every guy the lady said she met. She said, oh, they're creeps or they're like this. How do you know? You don't know those guys. Some guy that you think is weird could be the nicest guy, most sane guy ever. He's not going to be a guy with swag. They want the same thing. Riz, the guy has to have Riz, right? You heard the back lady say that? What are you talking about? They're all looking for that. Yeah, man. But it goes to show, though, what's going on in the U.S., it's going on in the UK, it's going on with other communities too. And so many guys are starting to realize it's definitely more to life than dealing with women who think like that. Thank you for watching. Peace out. See you next video.